Lately, I've gotten really into Retro Achievements. If you don't know what it is, it's basically a site that adds Xbox 360 style achievements to some of your favorite retro games. So I thought, why not see if I can get every achievement for Banjo Kazooie in a single sitting? I mean, Banjo Kazooie isn't that long of a game. How bad could it be? But before we jump into Spiral Mountain, I wanted to do a little bit of prep so that we could hopefully get a nice smooth run through the game. So how was I going to go about this? Well, to start, I wanted to look at all the missable achievements in the list. So the missable achievements are Steel Lungs, looked a little scary at first, Witch Exterminator, this would prove to be way harder than I was expecting, Bright Skull, you may be wondering why this one's missable. Stay tuned, I'll show you why this one can be missable in a playthrough of Banjo. And finally, What's a Hollow Honeycomb, which this single achievement changes the whole way that we're going to play through the game. So how are we going to play through the game? Next, I wanted to plan out a route. What was my plan for getting through the game? So the way I looked at it was, let's proceed through the game, just completely through to the end without touching a single honeycomb, because we need this hollow honeycomb achievement. But along the way, let's get 100 notes in each world. If we're going through the worlds, we need the jiggies. Let's get the 100 notes so we don't have to do that again. In the original version of Banjo, if you don't remember, you have to get your notes reset when you leave. So you have to get them all in one. After we get through each world, we're going to beat Grunty without taking damage. That gets us our beat the game achievement. That gets the Grunty achievement out of the way. And it will get Hollow Honeycomb out of the way as well. We'll also get Steel Lungs along the way. Now, with Grunty dead, I plan on backtracking to the start of the game, and we're going to get all the honeycombs, allowing us to 100% all the levels up to Click Clock Wood. Then we'll go out and we'll just clean up some of the excess random achievements. Now, to kind of assist with this, I made a checklist. This checklist had all of the Mumbo Token locations on it. I've since doing this added the 1-ups on it, because that is also an achievement, and I should have had it in there when I did this. So if you ever plan to do this, I'm going to link my list, my checklist down below. You can make a copy of it and you'll have the 1-ups. You'll be in a better place than me. But with all our prep out of the way, I think it's time we jump into it and we start knocking out some achievements in Banjo Kazooie. So starting off in the game, we're going to end up in Spiral Mountain. And the first thing we need to do is talk to Bottles, and we need to learn all the moves in the game. There is an achievement for learning all the moves that Bottles can teach you. So we're going to take the tutorial, and as wrong as it feels, we're going to skip the honeycombs and head straight on into the first level of the game, which is Mumbo's Mountain. Now, there's 2 achievements that I'm aiming to scoop up here in Mumbo's Mountain. So the first one is getting all the 1-up trophies in the level. The first one is located in the huts that you can smash around where Mumbo's hut is. So we're going to, on our way to it, we're going to gather just as much stuff as we can, start learning some of our moves from Bottles, and get the first 1-up trophy. Now, the second 1-up trophy is located at the top of Ticker's Tower, and I had to climb Ticker's Tower without becoming a termite because I had to show off. It's just, I had to do it. But as we get to the top here, we will get our first achievement for all lives in Mumbo's Mountain. Afterwards, we're just going to continue gathering more stuff. Like I said, we're aiming, in all these levels, we're aiming to get 100 notes. And ideally, we're going to get all 10 jiggies as well, just so we don't have to come back for it. Now, even though I cheesed the Ticker's Tower, there's still an achievement for becoming a termite. So we're going to head on over to Mumbo's hut after we get our 5 tokens and get our next achievement for Banjo the Termite. Afterwards, I'm just going to clean up to get our 100 notes and our 10 jiggies and no honeycombs. And then we're going to head on out of Mumbo's Mountain. Back in Gruntilda's lair, we have 3 orders of business. First thing, we need to get the jiggy on top of Mumbo's Mountain's entrance. The cool way, of course. I didn't take termite out of here, so we're gonna... There we go. Afterwards, we need to go open the 50 note door to progress and get our next achievement. And then we're going to head on over into Treasure Trove Cove. Treasure Trove Cove is going to go pretty straightforward, very similarly to Mumbo's Mountain, honestly. We're going to start by just gathering a bunch of stuff and notably learning our moves from bottles. We want to learn them really quickly because we got to learn how to fly. Once we learn how to fly, though, I'm going to fly up and get this witch switch so we can get a free Jiggy back in the lair. And then notably, we're going to fly as high as possible in this center area in Treasure Trove Cove. This gets us our next achievement, to infinity and beyond, for hitting the highest point in Treasure Trove Cove. Afterwards, just going to be cleaning up the whole level, finding the Jinjos, getting the 10 Jiggies, and hitting our 100 notes, skipping the honeycombs, and then we're going to head out of Treasure Trove Cove. I forgot to get the 1-ups, so we're going to have to come back for that. That is a lesson I learned immediately, and we're not going to forget the 1-ups ever again. So remember that witch switch we hit, and I said there was a free Jiggy back in the lair to grab? Good one. Forgot about that immediately, but it's okay. We have to come back here for the lives anyways, so hopefully I remember it's there the next time I come back. Anyways, back in the lair here, we're going to go unlock the 180 note door for our next achievement. And then we're going to do a couple of the puzzles to unlock worlds. I ended up doing Bubblegloop Swamp and also Clanker's Cavern just to get them both out of the way. And then work my way over to Clanker's Cavern for our next level. Immediately upon entering Clanker's, we're met with this Steel Lungs achievement. Now, I won't lie, I wasn't ready for this to start, but I kind of forgot that Clanker just talks to you when you die for the first time. So, ready or not, we're diving. And so we got to swim through that keyhole 3 times without taking a breath for air, getting a bubble from Gloop to free Clanker. And let me tell you, I freed Clanker and got the bubble afterwards to save myself with what had to be as little time remaining as possible. It was genuinely impressive. Okay, that actually was not that bad. I thought that was gonna be way worse. Yeah, I honestly thought that was gonna be way worse. Now I need a bubble. Oh, let's go. We're so back. Afterwards, we're going to make our way up to the surface and start picking up stuff. The first thing along the way is there's a 1-up right by Clanker's Fin, right by this really annoying chompy guy. But we pick it up, and that gets us our next achievement, which is Lives Collector, for having 9 lives at once. Then we're just going to do the usual. We're picking up the Jinjos, getting all the Jiggies, getting all the music notes. Though, I had so much trouble finding the last 1-up. It took me forever to find this thing. Where was it? It was right by the orange Jinjo. I knew there was a honeycomb piece over there. So every time I ran past it, I went, that's a honeycomb piece. We're not getting those right now. No, there's a 1-up over there, you idiot. This was the moment where I was like, I really should probably have a list or a checklist for these, huh? That's going to come back to bite me later. But first, let's head back to Treasure Trove Cove and pick up those 1-ups that I forgot to grab before we forget. The first one being up here in this little shallow pool of water. The second one being all the way out here at Shark Food Island on this box. And the third one kind of hiding away over here behind this platform in the ocean. And that gets us our achievement for all the lives in Treasure Trove Cove. Not shown is the 5 minutes it took me to find that last 1-up. But we're heading back to the lair. That gives us a perfect opportunity to pick up that Jiggy that I left last time from the witch switch, right? Right. Let's go to Bubblegloop Swamp. There's 3 achievements we're aiming to get here in Bubblegloop Swamp. The first one is Banjo the Crocodile. That's just for transforming into the crocodile. So while we gather up some stuff and learn the moves that Bubblegloop Swamp has to offer, we're going to make our way up to Mumbo's hut, spend our hard-earned Mumbo tokens, and unlock that achievement. Easy. While we're a crocodile, let's go get our rewards from Mr. Vile. So first you just play him for his normal rewards, but then there's a second time you can challenge him and he'll give you 1-ups if you win. This is the one we need to do without the turbo trainers. Unfortunately, I died the first time and I thought this was a catastrophe, but it turns out you actually don't lose your note score if he kills you in that minigame, because if you lose, he takes a life. So thankfully we don't lose our note score. I go back for the rematch, I get him the second time and unlock God tier. Finally, we just clean up all the stuff from Bubblegloop Swamp, get all the lives to get our achievement for all lives in Bubblegloop Swamp, and then tragedy strikes. I didn't get 100 notes. Shit. Well, that'll be something we have to come back for. Well, put it on the list. We'll come back for those whenever we come back for the honeycombs. But for now, let's clear out the lair a little bit. So we're going to do the Freezeezy Peak puzzle to unlock that level. Then let's get back-to-back achievements by unlocking the 260 note door and then the 350 note door. We have the notes for it, we might as well. Then we'll go tackle the Gobi's Valley puzzle to unlock that level. Now at this point, you can do either Gobi's Valley or Freezeezy Peak. I've always just chose to do Gobi's Valley first. That's just how I've done it. Let me know down below what one you guys usually choose to do first, whether Freezeezy Peak or Gobi's. So remember at the start of this video when I told you there was a missable Mumbo token in Banjo Kazooie? Well, here it is. Gobi's Valley is the home to the missable Mumbo token. So once you learn the Talon Trot ability, you're able to go up this, race up this pyramid and enter it, and it's like a flooded area. There's a Mumbo token in the corner of this area while it's flooded, up in the air. If you swim down and get the Jiggy before getting the Mumbo token, it drains the water and then you can't get to that Mumbo token ever again. So that is your one missable Mumbo token in Banjo Kazooie. So I start working on Gobi's Valley here, and then I end up doing something truly incredible. Oh, I'm dead. That really sucks. That's right. I died. So at this point, I end up saying, you know what? I think Gobi's Valley is just cursed. And I bail out and I go to Freezeezy Peak because I think that level will go much smoother. Now we're going to make some really good progress in Freezeezy Peak. First thing we're going to do is head on over to the Christmas tree and we're going to do start the Christmas tree Jiggy. If you didn't know, you can actually cheese this little mini game at the start like this. Do I remember how to do this? You're good. Done. After that, I'm going to grab some of the music notes and head over to the pile of Christmas presents where we can learn our last and arguably the worst move in the game, giving us the Move Master achievement. I make my way through the level dealing with easily the worst enemy in the game. These snowmen, they are just so miserable to deal with. But we head on over to Mumbo's hut where we strike gold. Washing machine. Washing machine. Oh, let's go. Washing machine. That's right. We get the washing machine transformation, giving us back-to-back achievements. I don't know the odds of this. I've seen some people say turning into the washing machine naturally like this is like 1 in 40 chance. Either way, it's very rare and I got very lucky to get that out of the way. While we're a walrus, let's just get everything we need to get with him so we don't have to retransform into the walrus again. That includes our last 1-up trophy to get us all lives in Freezeezy Peak. And then there's a honeycomb piece here. I ended up just grabbing it because you need 6 honeycomb pieces to make a honeycomb. I can grab a couple and not invalidate the achievement of not extending the life bar. So I figure we'll just grab it and we'll just be done with Freezeezy Peak. So that means I can finish the whole level. So I'll just go around, clean everything up, which will lead to us getting our first 100% a level achievement. We're done here. I don't gotta come back to this place, which is fantastic. What I do have to go back for is Gobi's Valley. So let's head on back there and finish up that level. On the way, I'm gonna grab the 450 note door because we have the notes for it now. Let's get that achievement. Onwards to Gobi's Valley. So there's not much we have to do in Gobi's Valley. We can start by flying through all the rings, and that will unlock the Jiggy on the back of the Sphinx. Then I can do the target pyramid now that I have to move from Freezeezy Peak and get the stuff in there. And then finally just go inside the Sphinx and get the stuff that I never got in there. Afterwards I can get the last life and we get our achievement for all lives in Gobi's Valley. Finish the note score and then we're free of this place. Then I'm just going to do the puzzle for Mad Monster Mansion and head on over there for the next level. Now this is where things start to slow down a bit and where my planning starts to show its cracks a little bit. Right off the bat, I head over to this pond with the blue Jinjo and there's a whip crack in the water. Remember this whip crack. He'll be very important later on. So I start gathering things around the level through the spooky head mage, inside the manor, including this 1-up hiding on the ceiling in the chandelier. Then I'll just make my way over into Mumbo's hut to be transformed and get the Banjo the Pumpkin achievement. Pumpkin time! As a pumpkin, let's get all the things we need to get as a pumpkin. So we'll get the Jiggy in the well, the infamous Jiggy after being flushed down the toilet, and then at the bottom of the gutter to finish them off. But I still need to find the last 1-up in this level. And if I had a list, I would have known it was in the Banjo Kazooie stained glass portrait. But instead, I ran around searching for it like an idiot for ages. But after finally finding that, I was still missing 9 music notes. And I ran around for probably close to 20 minutes trying to find them because somehow I looked past this one window at the top of the mansion. Super silly mistake. I couldn't believe it. Yup. Can't believe I completely forgot. I completely spaced on this. Completely spaced on that room. Okay. Anyways, with all the Jiggies and all the notes, let's leave the level as a pumpkin so we can unlock Rusty Bucket Bay, but also get our next achievement for finding the first Cheeto page, the Red Feathers cheat. And now, it's time for the worst level this game has to offer. Welcome to Rusty Bucket Bay. So if you've played this game, you know what a disaster this level can be. And don't forget, we're rolling on default health still. Most things in this level do 2 damage minimum a hit, so it's gonna be rough, but let's get to it. I get off to a good start, picking up Jiggies here in the flooded house, under the crate on the ship, inside the bedroom, and on top of the smokestack. But then, while I was trying to at least get the 100 notes, so I don't have to worry about that again, I got sneak attacked by this chomper and died. Oof. At this point, I revised the plan, and I thought, let's go try and beat the game so I can get more health before trying this level again. So I head back to the lair, we unlock the 640 note door, and also the final note door, the 765, for 2 more achievements. Now at this point, I found some foolish, stupid confidence and thought it would be pretty awesome if I got Rusty Bucket Bay over and done with. At least grab all the Jinjos so I have that part done. So, against my better judgment, I went back. I had 3 goals in mind returning to this miserable place. 1, collect all the Jinjos. 2, get all the lives for the achievement. And 3, get the 100 note score. So we have to traverse the whole level to get those things. So let's get the 3 1-ups along the way. The first one is in the flooded house to the left of the starting point. The second one is in one of the 3 crates along the side. You have to kill all the TNT boxes and then it will spawn. And the final one is in the engine room, getting us that sweet, sweet all lives achievement. Now I did get all the Jinjos prior to getting that last one up, so 2 of my goals are now done. If I can just get the notes and get out, I'm set. But I'm in the engine room, and the engine room takes no prisoners. Might as well just head back and just get ready to hit them again. I'm dead. I'm dead. Oh my god. Okay, this time, for real, we're going to Click Clock Wood. I'm done for now with Rusty Bucket Bay. We'll come back for the notes after Grunty is defeated and I actually have some health. Click Clock Wood is a big level, and there is a lot to do, and it's kind of going to be a while before we get an achievement for any of it. So we're going to start off in the spring section, and just start by making our way up the tree, gathering notes, and getting all the Mumbo tokens we can along the way, because there's a lot to grab in this level. On our way up, we will unlock the summer section of the level, and there is a Jiggy at the top of the tree we can get. After that, I'm going to make my way down to Mumbo's hut, and we will get our last transformation. We will turn into the bee for Banjo Wants Honey. Afterwards, just clean up spring, and we'll just move our way to summer to start collecting some of the notes and stuff there. One of the first things I'm going to do in summer is unlock the fall section of the level, because you got to keep doing that. And then going up the tree, collecting Mumbo tokens along the way, we encounter this awful treehouse Jiggy. There's also a one up here, so we got to get them both. But man, the camera does you no favors in trying to get back from getting this Jiggy. Progress has been made. Am I dead? We aren't dead. Entering the fall section of Click Clock Wood, we're going to do what we do at the start of every single one of these. We're climbing the tree, and we're going to unlock Winter along the way. After unlocking Winter, we're going to help Nabnut by getting some of his acorns, get the Jiggy from him, and then on our way down to enter Winter, we'll also get the Jiggy from the Beaver because we freed up his house in the summer section, and now we can enter in and get the Jiggy from him. Finally, we enter the winter section of Click Clock Wood, and my god, these stupid snowmen are back. I thought we were free of these things. The first thing I'm going to do is get the final Jinjo on top of Mumbo's hut and get the Jiggy from the Jinjo. And then I start to clean up all the stuff around the area, and I go to dive under this ice, but like I wasn't fully prepared and I wanted to jump back up to get a better start, and I got stuck under the ice and died. That was just really unfortunate. So at that point, I figure we have enough stuff. Let's continue with the plan, which is beat the game. We'll come back when we have more health. We got most everything in Click Clock Wood. I'll just need the notes, which still sucks because it's broken up into 4 areas. But we'll worry about that after Grunty is defeated. it's finally time. We go take down Grunty. But first, a game show. There is one achievement here. Win Furnace Fun. And God, did I make that difficult on myself. So in case you didn't know how it works, there are questions about Gruntilda on the game board. And the answers to those questions are random every time you play the game. Now, the only way to learn the answers to those questions your playthrough of the game is to talk to Gruntilda when you find her randomly around Gruntilda's lair. So I never did that. And I made this the hardest guessing game imaginable. No, really. I spent the next hour dying over and over and over again to figure out some of the answers and get through the game. It was an embarrassment. Please learn from my mistakes. Anyways, getting to the end of Furnace Fun awards us the Quizmaster achievement. It's time to take down the witch. But we gotta do it with no damage taken, which is much easier said than done. Gotta figure things out one phase at a time. The first phase is pretty straightforward. I decided to just run back and forth and beak attack her whenever she stops. The second phase got a little harder. Trying to dodge the blast by baiting the shots and then jumping up onto the wall to shoot eggs proved really difficult. But the hardest part of it all was the flying phase. Oh, this was awful. When I wasn't getting hit by Grunty, I was launching myself straight into the floor, straight off the level. I could not get this part down. The flying launch move is just terrible. I made it to the final phase one time with the Jinjo statues, but I immediately got hit and I had to restart. I tried many times at this over the next, hour? I gave it my best effort, but after 11 hours of this, I had to take a break. Grunty had won. Oh, that sucks. Alright, well, I'm guessing. Now, at this point, I thought to myself, even if I beat Grunty right now, there's still going to be like a couple hours of cleanup afterwards to finish all the achievements. So I decided to take a break and I get some much needed rest, and it helped tremendously going into day 2. I was able to think clearer and come up with better strategies to beat Grunty. Now, I forgot to restart the timer I had in the bottom right for the second day, so, well, it was good while it lasted. Anyways, I quickly improved upon the strats I was using the night before. In the first phase, I decided to shoot eggs instead of beak attacking her so that I wouldn't miss or accidentally run into her and take damage. Plus, it was way faster because I could get multiple hits in every time she was vulnerable. Afterwards, in phase 2, I found that using the bigger side pieces of the castle wall made it much easier to dodge shots and get more eggs hits into Grunty. Also, hitting her more times in a row allowed me to kind of skip some sections of this phase, which made things a lot faster also. Now, unfortunately, I didn't really find a pro tip for the flying phase. I just kind of winged it. Get it? But really, this was the most stressful part. But now we go into phase 4, the Jinjo phase. I quickly learned that staying underneath of Grunty and shooting the eggs from afar worked out far better for me because I was able to keep an eye on her and dodge the attacks easier. The way I saw it, slow and steady when we get to this point. I don't want to redo that stupid flying phase. So rinse and repeat for all 4 Jinjo statues and the big boy appears. Now, I was really worried about this phase, but it actually seemed to be pretty easy as long as I got an eye on where Grunty was very quickly. Then it was just about dodging the hits, using invincibility to tank the big hit, and slowly chip away at that Jinjonator statue. And eventually, I got it. Is that it? should be it, right? I'm not celebrating until I see the stupid thing pop up on the screen. That should be it. Let's go! Holy crap, that was so tough. And hollow honeycomb. All right, that's huge. That was such a satisfying achievement pop to get. And now that I have the hollow honeycomb achievement, there's nothing stopping me from returning to the start of the game and 100%ing every level. So let's start doing some cleanup. So I returned where it all began, Spiral Mountain, and I waste no time. I start working on getting the honeycombs from the tutorial section, as I also get the first one up behind the waterfall. Then I just wrap up the honeycombs to get the Spiral Mountain achievement, and then head on over to Banjo's house where the other one-up is located, also getting the All Lives in Spiral Mountain achievement. Now, I should have done the bottles puzzles inside of Banjo's house while I was here to save a little time, but I didn't plan that far ahead. Instead, I go for honeycombs, so get ready for the speed round as I hit each level's honeycombs, Mumbo's Mountain, Treasure Trove Cove, and a whole day later, we get the Witch Switch Jiggy outside of Treasure Trove Cove, finally. I never got that Jiggy. That's so funny. Then we head to Clanker's Cavern and Bubblegloop Swamp with the 100 notes that I messed up on before. Then while I'm a crocodile, let's head on over and get the blue egg Cheeto page for the next Cheeto achievement. Afterwards, I wrap up Gobi's Valley and Mad Monster Mansion. Whew. Now, I want to put off Rusty Bucket Bay as long as possible because I hate it there. So I make a detour to get all the lives in Gruntilda's lair, and it's a journey. So there are 7 lives in total in the lair you need to get. The first one is behind a tree next to the Click Clock Wood puzzle. The second one is above the pipe entering the Bubblegloop Swamp area. Then the next one is behind the hat of the Big Grunty statue. Then I head all the way to the top of the flooded Mad Monster Mansion puzzle room to get the fourth. The fifth one is behind the crypt where you raise the water level, where you have to be a pumpkin. Then we go all the way to Click Clock Wood, and there's actually a hidden spring pad in the grass behind the stump that can help you get on top of it for a 1-up. And then the final 1-up is in the window after Furnace Fun. Getting the "Is it this? Now let me think. What is Grunty's favorite drink?" achievement. Alright, I can't avoid it forever. I head back to Rusty Bucket Bay. But this time, with all the health in the world, I make quick work of it. I best the engine room and 100% Rusty Bucket Bay. Then I make my way to Click Clock Wood, and as expected, spend forever recollecting all the music notes and the 1-up trophies. But then it was time to get revenge on the winter swimming section. I know where I'm going, and I'm prepared this time. So I dive in, and I head to the Beaver first to get the Jiggy there and unlock the 100% Click Clock Wood achievement. And then I brace myself to get the last 1-up, this evil one under the furthest point of the ice in winter, to get the All Lives in Click Clock Wood. I saved for last, knowing I might not make it back from the swim, and I did not. Now, I just have to transform into the bee and leave as the bee so I can fly up in the lair and get the last Jiggy there, not only giving the 100% Gruntilda's lair achievement, but also the secret ending achievement for having all 100 Jiggies. In the secret ending, Mumbo shows hints to some special items. These are the stop and swap items that were going to be used in future games, but ended up never being implemented. But you guessed it, there's an achievement to get all of them, which I actually thought was pretty cool because I've never gotten them before. And that's something I love about doing retro achievements, is it sometimes shows you parts of a game that you've never seen before, or just kind of gives you a different angle of playing through a game to kind of experience it in a different way. All right, so there's a lot of codes to put in the treasure trove code room. So I go there to start because we also have the bottles cheats to put in, and I forgot you have to do the puzzles to unlock the codes. So never mind for now. I gotta go back to Banjo's house. So on my way back there to unlock the codes, I'm first gonna head up to the final area. Now that I have all the notes and the puzzle pieces, I can unlock the double health area in there for the Show Me the Honey achievement. Then, since I gotta get back to the start of the game, let's finally unlock all the warp cauldrons and get the warping around achievement as well. Now, back to Banjo's house again to do the bottles puzzles and unlock all the cheat codes. Some of these are honestly way harder than I was expecting. Like, look at this one. There's barely a picture here for some parts of it. Now, I completely forgot there's more puzzles I have to unlock the codes, so don't worry, Banjo's house. I'll be back. I can't escape you. Now, I head over to Treasure Trove Cove and first enter all the bottles codes to make one weird looking banjo and unlock a good handful of achievements. And then it's time for the stop and swap codes. If you've never seen these or entered these before, they are long. Like, let me read you one or two of them. Cheat, now you can see a nice ice key which you can have for free. Or cheat, a desert door opens wide, ancient secrets wait inside. This took me over 20 minutes just to type in the codes one letter at a time. But eventually, all the items are unlocked. So I just gotta go pick them up. Now the first one, the pink egg, is right here in Treasure Trove Cove. The blue egg item is in Gobi's Valley, where Gobi was just chilling the first time. The light blue egg and the green egg are in Mad Monster Mansion. The red egg is in Rusty Bucket Bay. I also started looking for leftover Mumbo tokens at this time, and my checklist said there was one in this specific bedroom on the back right bed. So I ended up checking every single bed except the one it was on. I was thinking back right in terms of like Banjo's point of view, not my point of view. So I checked it off foolishly, assuming I had gotten already. This was tremendously dumb. Anyways, then I grabbed the yellow egg out of Click Clock Wood. And finally, the final item is the ice key in Freezeezy Peak, which gets me the stopped and swapped achievement. I'm in the home stretch now. Let's clean up and finish this thing. First thing, I have one more Cheeto page to find. So I head to the Rusty Bucket Bay area and fill the room with water to level 3 and swim all the way to the top of the next room for the final Cheeto page achievement. 2 more left. Oh, cool. One is to do all the bottles jigsaws, huh? Guess that means I forgot one. Back to the house we go. These were honestly pretty challenging. It took me a few tries to get them. The pictures were hard and the pieces were like rotated. So it took me a few tries, but eventually I get the Jigsaw Maker achievement. Okay, now for the mess. You may be wondering, Zick, you had a checklist. How are you still missing Mumbo tokens? You and me both. Great question. Everything was checked on my list, but I was still missing 3. So this felt kind of hopeless. I just had to run around and try and figure it out. I was worried I was going to have to just rerun through the whole game and the whole checklist. I was able to eliminate a few places like Mumbo's Mountain because you have to get all 5 there to become the termite. So I couldn't have missed one there. And I was sure of a few levels. So I started by checking Freezeezy Peak, but nothing there. And then I was sure there was one in Rusty, but I just didn't know where and I couldn't find it. We all know where it is. In the end, do you want to know where they were? There were 2 in Mad Monster Mansion. One was in the yellow Jinjo room. My checklist said it was behind a box and I was looking behind the wrong box. And the other, remember that whip crack? Yep. My checklist said buy the whip crack by the blue Jinjo. So I thought it'd just be sitting there. No, you have to kill the whip crack to reveal the Mumbo token. Okay. The last one, you guessed it, the bed in Rusty Bucket Bay. There it is. And we're done. Holy crap. What a way to end it. And that's it. Banjo Kazooie has been mastered. This was a really fun achievement set to do, though it took me way longer than I was expecting. But I think in the future, I just need to plan better. I think the only achievements I wasn't a huge fan of was the Hollow Honeycomb achievement. It just kind of was a really annoying restriction on playing the game. Banjo's a game where you want 100% all the levels. You know, it's just naturally want to collect all this stuff. And it kind of just felt really awkward to have to come back to 100% all the levels. And even in places like Grunty, for example, having low health wasn't even a challenge because I couldn't take a hit anyways. So wasn't a huge fan of that one. And I would probably say I wish the Mumbo tokens were broken up by level instead of being just all the Mumbo tokens across the whole game. That way it would be easier to keep track of them instead of having this giant global counter to keep track of. Either way, I would highly recommend checking this out if you haven't already. Retro achievements are a ton of fun, and I'll try to bring you more of these in the future. But until the next one, thanks for watching and take care, everyone.